Welcome back. It's a preview Wednesday evening's Premier League match between Southampton and West Ham United. Pascal, start with the away side. Into the match of back a 1-1 draw Manchester United.
Yeah, they played really well in that game, didn't they? Obviously, they've had some really good results at Upton Park this season. The win against City stands out probably most of all. But yeah, they were fantastic in the first half, especially. They were sort of created the most chances. De Gea made a couple of really important saves, one with his hand, one with his foot. But they were so dangerous at set pieces, weren't they? They pretty much won every header at set pieces, getting to all the second balls as well. And they took the lead soon after half time. Kouyaté, who was a sort of fill-in centre back, he sort of juggled it in the box, 2 touches in the box, and slammed it home. It's a bit lucky to get the deflection off Blind, but West Ham, even though they took the lead and they were looking so good, they didn't quite build on it as much as you might expect them to. Obviously, United, you have to credit them. They came back into the game more. They had a few chances. Obviously, Falcao missing the big one, and then it's conceding. In added time. Daily Blind. It was a decent finish from him. Allardyce would be annoyed they didn't quite clear their lines well enough. But United, they had to resort to sort of long ball tactics, didn't they? They brought on Fellaini, just to go and stand up there, win a lot of headers, and Allardyce, it's quite ironic. He's known for his long ball tactics, and afterwards he said, long ball United, he called them. He sort of, it's quite ironic the way it happened, but he couldn't quite hold on. Obviously, it was a great finish from Blind, but I think if you said to Allardyce you can get a point out of this game before, and he might have taken it, but when he watches it back, you think, how do we not win that game? And obviously, it was a big game for them if they were trying to maybe rekindle their top 4 ambitions.
So it was certainly an encouraging performance, wasn't it? Losing it late on, like you say, but I think a point would have been, if they'd have won that game, they'd have been 4 points off fourth, which you're looking at their hopes for the season. It's been discussed quite a lot, isn't it? They were in the top 4 earlier in the season. I think now they're 7 points off fourth. I don't think they've got a chance to finish in the top 4. I think there's too many strong teams. But you're looking at a finish, you said start of the season, top 6, top 7 finishes. No doubt about it, they've taken that. They've got a much better team this season, haven't they? Players up front who can score goals, and there's so much more creativity in this team than there was last season. So there's definitely a lot of positives to West Ham at the moment.
Definitely, and obviously I talked about Kouyaté impressing in that game. Obviously he was the sort of fill-in centre-back there, but James Tompkins, he might now have to sit out as well. And if Kouyaté's not there, that's their 3 main centre-backs, Collins, Winston Reid, and Tompkins, if he misses out as well. So there are 3 main centre-backs missing for this game, and Kouyaté obviously filled in there, and Allardyce might have to turn to Alex Song to play centre-back, so that'd be 2 midfielders playing centre-back. Obviously Song, he's played at centre-back when he was at Barcelona, but that's an area that Southampton might look to exploit. But looking at the other end of the pitch, Sacco and Valencia, they were fantastic, weren't they? There's a lot of comparisons made. Sacco and Valencia and Van Persie and Falcao just completely different. Van Persie and Falcao both sort of quite relaxed in the way they play, just trying to find pockets of space here and there, but Sacco and Valencia all action, running the channels, doing as much as you can to just cause the opposition defence problems, and they're always thinking about you. When you're playing against Sacco and Valencia, defenders always have to think about where they are because they're just so buzzy. But Andy Carroll, he could be back for this one, and if Carroll's coming back, it's hard to imagine Allardyce dropping either Sacco or Valencia because they both played really well in that game. So Carroll might have to settle for a place on the bench, but before he got injured, he was looking really good as well. Yeah. So Allardyce has got selection problems at the back. Who will he play at centre back? But up front, he's got a good selection problem in the sense he's got 3 out and out strikers who are all playing really well.
Definitely. Moving on to the home side, obviously it was a vital win for them last time out at QPR though. So they'd lost at home to Swansea, hadn't they? Sort of last time out, and it was. You wonder whether they were going to fall away. They've got some tough games, and to go to QPR, whose home form's not been too good lately, but their home form as a whole has been pretty good. Obviously, all their points have come at home, and it was a tight game. It looked like it was heading for a 0-0 draw, but then there was that crazy few minutes, wasn't there? Fraser Foster made that unbelievable save from Joey Barton. How he managed to hit his arm up. He's had a good season as well, actually, isn't he? I think a lot of people questioned whether he would come into the do well in the Premier League after his time at Celtic, and he did really well. And then straight down the other end, Sadio Mane, who was probably the standout player for Southampton in terms of an attacking option. He obviously finished, and you're looking for QPR point of view, and Nua had got turned in too easily, but to be fair, it was a good finish. And I think you saw what it meant to the bench, didn't it? Koeman, everyone was up, and obviously it kept him moving into 3rd position in the table, and you keep expecting them to fall away, and you get to a stage, I think if they're 4 points behind City at this stage, second City. So if you'd have said to Southampton fans start the season, you've lost all these players, Lallana, Shaw, Lambert, etc., Lovren, but you're going to be sitting after this stage of season 4 points behind last season champions, then you're looking at it's been an unbelievable season. Obviously, this is another vital game against a team who've obviously got top 4 ambitions themselves.
Definitely, they're obviously in a bit of a Manchester sandwich at the moment, aren't they? City and United either side of them, and City and United both with 1-1 draws at the weekend. They both dropped points, and that's obviously great news for Southampton. 3rd place in the table, and obviously if United had won at West Ham, they'd be 4th. But 3rd place, they're now 2 points clear of Spurs, who obviously they're chasing. Arsenal looking good, even though Arsenal lost to Spurs, but Arsenal been good lately. Liverpool been good lately. Spurs playing great. Obviously Harry Kane doing everything for Spurs at the moment. So Southampton, there's still so much work to do with the much bigger names behind them in the table, and you still probably expect them to drop out. Come May, when at the end of the season, they'd probably be about 5th or 6th. But like you say, it would be a fantastic season for them. But at the moment, 3rd in the table. Obviously, like you say, 4 points off City. If City, City, they've not been great recently, have they? A lot of bad performances from them. Obviously, 2 draws in a row for City now, and Southampton, if they could get above City, if they went on a decent run here to get themselves up to 2nd, that would just be incredible. And like I say, it's hard to see them finishing anywhere outside the top 6, given just how consistent they've been this season.
I think Southampton's home form's been pretty good as well. I think they won 7. Like they won 7 on the road as well, but at home, I think the only teams that won there is Manchester United. That was a tough game. City and Swansea a couple of weeks ago. They're the only 3 teams to beat them there. Apart from that, they won 7. So decent at home. Do you think they'll continue that here?
I'm going to say a draw here. I think West Ham, they played so well against United for large parts of that game. I think they're looking good here. But Southampton, like you say, they got a decent win at QPR. So I think these two teams, they sort of might cancel each other out a bit. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I actually agree. I'm going to go 1-1 as well. Both in decent form, aren't they? So both back in 1-1 draws in this one. Thanks for joining us.